Family, grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. So today, I'm I gotta talk to you about the acquisition of your spiritual material. Because when you lay down spiritual tracks, it's you gotta get the tracks from somewhere, right? When you're building your town, you gotta get your tracks from somewhere. And we haven't even gotten to the town. And this isn't out of order. Spirit told me that it wasn't out of order because if you're moving along your journey, you've been acquiring the material. Now, Spirit had me look, and I know what acquisition means, but Spirit had me look it up anyway. And I was given two definitions. An acquisition is an asset or object brought or obtained, uh, typically by a library or a museum, like the acquisition of new displays, new items, or it's the learning or developing of a skill, habit, or quality. So honestly, just plain and simple, the acquisition of your spiritual material is when you are acquiring a new learning and growing within yourself. Is it really that simple? Yes, it really is that simple. But see, how you choose to grow, how far you along you go. Mm. If you're paying attention to the speed limit signs, if you've had to pitch a tent, if you decided to let people throw rocks in your road, if you've got too comfortable in your spiritual house, it's going to affect the quality of the materials that you acquire. I talked about on laying down your spiritual tracks that I went from wood to metal tracks. I still have wooden tracks when I first started laying them down. Understand that when I started laying down my tracks, just because I acquired new material doesn't mean that I've changed the tracks that they had to come in on. Everything is part of your journey. It's part of who you're becoming and who you're meant to be and who you are. Now, some aren't willing to put in the work because the acquisition of these materials requires the shadow work. It requires for you to let people go. It requires for you to drop habits, drop things, drop jobs. Mm. Some of you aren't listening fully to what Spirit is telling you to do. That affects the quality of the materials that you acquire. Mm, 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 mm. If you remember, actually, excuse me, family. Today is January 30th. Even when this reaches Spotify, because I've been doing, I record these when Spirit gives me, when Spirit has me record them so they get uploaded in said thing, in said way. So even when Spotify gets this, it's not going to be today. But today's date is 1:30. If you remember, I had this paper. Boop. Said Thursday, January 29th. You have until then, Spirit. See, this is all making sense now, Spirit. Spirit was giving me little, like, well, this happened. This happened. This happened. Yeah. See, now I understand why Spirit wants me to link it all together. What I'm telling you is my journey. I'm not saying this is what you have to do. I'm just saying this is my journey. This is how Spirit is having me move. Today is January 30th. So yesterday, of course, was January 29th. January 28th was my last day on the plantation. Again, like I said, this isn't for everybody, but this is how Spirit had me move. There are things that I need to focus on in the Spirit, and I literally cannot do that being at a job that requires most of my time of the day. I want to be able to, when I get downloads, I want to be able to write them down. And when I get the umption and want to record, when Spirit says we need to get this out, we need to record this word, this download. There's something that I need for you to say. I need to be able to do that. When I am called to be in my spiritual position, because there are things that I need to do spiritually. And I need to have the time to be able to be in position when I need to be in position. And I can't do that being on the plantation. I'm trying to eat this microphone. I'm sorry, y'all. And I'm not even bothered by that. And I love everything that's happening right now. Because Spirit is saying this. Mm, mm. When you are asking for something, and Spirit says, I don't mind, but I need for you to do something for me. Those little things become big things. So those things are materials that are coming and that you need. Those are this is, give me the word, Spirit. This is how you have people chopping down the right kind of trees for your spiritual tracks, for what you need for the buildings in your town. This is how you find the resources so that way they can get to others who can tell them how to make something more solid like stone. 'Cause ain't nothing like that spiritual stone, baby. Being consistent, being obedient. Being obedient to who, baby? Being obedient to your ancestors. Being obedient to Spirit. Being obedient to the universe, baby. That's being that's being that to yourself. When you move in the responsibility of what you know, you're moving in the acquisition. You are putting it in the library or the museum. You're archiving your information, baby, and that archived information is what keeps giving you the materials, because somebody can always go back and reference whenever you're taking a moment or needing a moment to be taken where you have to sit for a moment. I hope somebody's understanding what I'm saying, baby. Baby, if you don't right now, I promise you, you will. And when you do, I give thanks. Spirit, I give thanks. I give thanks. See, every time I do this, I'm laying down different materials. I'm acquiring different materials. See, I can mix things together now to make things that are so strong and so stable. I don't know what my streets are made out of in my spiritual town. They glisten like they go. Glisten like they go with copper curves. Somebody understand what I'm saying, babe. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Child. See, spirit just told me to say, see, I see I see when I open my eyes, but see when I close my eyes, that's when I see. You got to be consistent in what you're doing. Don't be afraid to walk in the unknown because you're not walking alone in the unknown, baby. If it doesn't feel right, it's okay to ask spirit for more direction, for more instruction. Because what you want to be able to do, mm, mm, because what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to tell them how you need your tracks to be laid. You want to be able to, mm, mm, mm. You want to be able to lead your army and then have a courier go back to the town and tell them to prepare themselves to receive an abundance of loot because you have made steps and you've jumped off the cliff and you've opened your wings, baby. Hmm. You can either soar with the eagles or mingle with the pigeons. Spirit, I'm done. Spirit, yes, yes. Okay. We're Ashe, baby. Ashe. Mm. The acquisition of your spiritual material. I think I'm probably gonna be recording another one today. This is Ashe. Family, I love you. I come on. All right. I will go sit with spirit a little bit because spirit is just like, okay, all right, all right, all right. I love you, family. I love you.